Hey guys, in this video we'll create a very cute floral illustration that looks like this. So it consists of 3 flowers, some leaves and branches. It's very easy, but it's also very cute. You can use it in many different ways. I decided to make it a wallpaper, so that's how my phone looks like now. This is very cute. This is a very easy step-by-step tutorial that I hope you will enjoy. So let's get started. The first thing we have to do is to create a new canvas. So we'll go to this little plus sign, we'll tap on it, and we will use square canvas, so choose square Procreate template. Before we start, I have to say that we'll be using 2 brushes, monoline brush, which is the Procreate original brush, and Artist Script, which is made by Corinne from iPad Lettering, and I'll leave the link in the description below for where you can get it for free. So the first thing we will do, we will create the pink flower that will be somewhere here. So to do that, we'll go to the palette, we'll choose the first color, the first pink. In the first row, by the way, you can download my palette or you can use your own colors, that's up to you. So if you're using my colors, get this first pink. And we'll also choose the monoline brush and create a little circle. I'll make it a little bigger. We'll make it a little circle somewhere here. We'll move it later, so it doesn't matter where the circle is right now. And a little bigger, something like this. Now, after creating the circle, the next thing we have to do is to create the petals. So to do that, we'll go to our layers, we'll create a new layer, and we'll move it underneath the first layer. I'm not gonna name it right now because later on we will merge them on and then we'll name the layers. So now let's go to the palette and we will choose the second pink color right here. Now the way we'll create these petals is very easy. So we'll take the brush that we already have and we'll create this heart-shaped petals. So we'll just go around the flower and create this little heart. It should be very easy, they don't have to be perfect. You know, no flowers are perfect. So something like this. Now we'll just color, we'll turn this off, make sure they're all connected. And we will now color fill them. Good, now we'll turn this on. And you'll notice that I have a little gap right here, so I'll fix it. Again, the flower doesn't have to be perfect. So this is good for the flower. Now we will create a new layer on top of this layer. And we will take this little pink, this pale pink right here, and we'll create the new circle in the middle. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, then we'll color it. The less perfect it is, the more beautiful it is, actually, I think, because there's nothing perfect in this world. Okay, great. Now we have to finish the flower. We'll add some details, so we'll go create a new layer on top of this layer. So we'll create a new layer right here, and we will click clipping mask. This will make sure that we can draw only inside of this petals. So we'll go ahead and take the first pink again. We'll make the brush a little smaller, and we will draw some lines. And for this, I'll probably take the Artist Script line, because you can control by amount of pressure you applied, you can control how thick or thin the line is, and I want to make sure that my lines are not the same. So some of them are thicker, some of them are thinner, so I'll just use this brush because it works a little better. And all we do is we create these lines. It's very easy. As you notice, I'm not very careful, right? But because we're using clipping mask, I'm inside of petals only. Okay, that's all for this flower. It looks pretty cool. Now we will merge these layers and we will name it flower 1. I try to name layers every time I can, and this is one of the times when I can name the layer. Okay, now we'll create a second flower, which will be purple color right here. So we'll go ahead and create a new layer, and we'll move it underneath the pink flower because we want the pink flower to be the main flower on top of every other flower. So, and then we'll go ahead and choose this pale purple right here, and we'll create the center of the flower somewhere here. So you don't have to be very careful with this right now because we will move the flowers later. Now we'll choose this first purple right here, the fourth color in the first row. We'll create a new layer, and we'll go underneath the center purple, and we'll make the petals. Just draw them like this. I mean, we're all used to this kind of flowers. Now we'll color fill, and now I'll go ahead and I'll just fix some of my petals to make them look this more similar to each other. Just make them a little more even. Make them a little bigger also. Overall, it's not a bad flower, just fixing some small things. Okay, that's good. If you notice that my flower is underneath the pink flower, and I want to merge this, and I'll name it pink flower. I'll name it flower 2. Flower 2. Okay, that's good. Now we'll create the third flower, which will be right here. So we'll create a new layer again, and we'll go underneath the pink flower, but we will go on top of the purple color flower. Then we'll go and choose this yellow right here, and we will draw the middle of the flower somewhere here. This center shouldn't be too big because we want it to be a little smaller than the rest of the centers of the flowers. Something like this will work. Now create a new layer, and we'll go underneath this yellow circle, and we will choose this pale yellow right here. Now we'll create thin petals, thin long petals like this. Remember, you can always go back and fix it, so you don't have to make it. You don't have to make them perfect. Also, it's very hard to make perfect petals. So do something like that. So now just color fill it. And now you can go back and fix it a little bit. So I'll make some of them a little longer, because I just want them to be longer. Okay, let's see. I'll probably fix this one too a little bit. And probably fix this too, because they're a little short as for the rest of the petals. Oops. No. Yeah, something like this. Something like this will work. I'll probably make this a little bigger. So I'll go back and go back to my layer and make it a little bit bigger. Good. Now I'll create one more layer between these two layers, and we'll take this last color in the first row. What we'll do, we'll just create some lines. I'll make my line a little bit thinner, and that way we'll create some details and some decoration to this flower. So we'll just create some lines, and then create some circles on top of these lines. Circles, so it taps, and this in my situation, because I'm not using the monoline brush, so it's harder for me to make circles with this brush, but this taps also look kind of cool. Just adding some cute fun things to our flower. Looks like a little sun. That's all. That's good for now. So now I want to move this flower a little closer to my pink flower. So I'll just, again, I will merge these layers and I'll rename it flower 3. Now I can move it all together and move a little closer to my pink flower somewhere here. Now I want to move my flowers a little down, I think. So I'll choose 3 layers at the same time. So I'll choose first layer, then I swipe the rest of the layers to the right, and now I can move them all together. Because we will be creating some other things to this flower, so I want to make sure I have the space around the flowers right here. So now we'll create leaves. First we'll create 3 leaves right here, then 2 leaves right here, and 2 leaves right here. So to do that, we'll again create a new layer, and we'll go underneath all the layers. Now the first 2 leaves right here, you know what, I'm thinking of making them a little smaller. Oops. Something like that, yeah. And move it a little. Cool, yeah, that looks a little better, because I want to make sure I have space for my leaves. Okay, so now let's go back to the leaves. We'll name it leaves 1, and we will take this first green color on the second row. We'll create 3 leaves right here behind the pink flower. First one, the second one, and somewhere here the third one, because I want the third one to be a little far apart from the first 2. So somewhere here. So now we'll turn this off, make sure those are connected so we can color fill them. And now let's color fill them. And turn our flower back on. Oops, turn our flower back on. So that's how it's supposed to look, I guess. We can move them a little more to the center. Now we'll create a new layer on top of this layer, and we'll take this second green right here, and we'll create just some details to our leaves. So just think like this. One more here. Very, very easy. There we go. Now we'll merge those layers again, and we'll name it leaves 1. Now we'll create 2 leaves behind the yellow flower. So we'll go back and we'll create a new layer. We'll take this third green right here in the second row, and we'll create 2 leaves here and here. One here, one here. So we'll go here, something like this. Something like this will work. Now again, we have to go back. We'll have to turn this off to make sure they're all connected. Now we'll color fill them. Now we can turn this back on. Now we'll create the same details, so we'll create a new layer on top. We'll take the forest color in the second row, and we'll create the leaves. This way, maybe I will just make them a little shorter. Short stems like this. Same goes for this leaf. Super easy. Cool. Now we will merge those two layers and we will call it leaves 2. Now we'll create 2 leaves behind the purple flower. So we'll create a new layer and make sure we're underneath the flowers. We will take this brown on the second row and we'll create 2 leaves, one here and one here. Now we'll turn it off, make sure they're connected so we can color fill them. No help. There we go. Now we have 2 leaves. I'll just probably fix this one just a little bit. I want to make it a little fatter. I'll do like this. Maybe also a little longer. Cool. Now we'll create some details again. So we'll go and create a new layer. We'll grab this last brown on the second row. And we'll create these things again. All the leaves. Cool. So that's all for the flowers. Now we'll create a few branches. Now we have to go back to layers. We'll have to merge these layers and name it leaves 3. Now I want to move my composition a little bit to the left. So I will go ahead and grab all the layers and move it a little bit to the left. I want to make sure I have the same amount of space from each side. So now we'll create a branch that will come from here. Brown branch right here. So we will go ahead, we'll create a new layer. We're still underneath the flowers. We'll grab the first brown in the third row, and we'll create a new branch, something like this. Now we'll create the leaves. Very easy, regular leaf shape. Probably make them a little too skinny. I mean, not too skinny, just make them a little skinnier than we did with the green leaves. Now we'll color fill this little leaves on this little branch. Oops. Ugh. Yep. And that's how it's supposed to look. That looks pretty cute. I like it. Okay, we'll go back and we'll name it brown branch. There we go. Now we will create a pink flower, pink little flower coming from here to here, coming like this way. So we'll go create a new layer. We'll grab this second purple, dark purple, almost maroon on the third row. And we will create a little stem with a little cup that will hold the flower. So we'll go here a little closer. We'll create the flower coming from here, from somewhere here, coming this way. So they're coming together. Probably I want to get a little this way. Good? Yeah, that will work. Okay, now we'll create a little cap that will hold the flower. We will color it. Oops. Good. Now we'll create little leaves. We'll just create one. You can make different shapes, whatever you prefer. I just want to make sure I have different types of leaves in this illustration, and then we'll color these leaves. Okay, cool. Now we'll create a new layer and we'll go underneath this pink stem. And we'll grab the first pink right here. Dark pink, but lighter than this one. So now we'll create the flower. So it's easy. It kind of looks like a tulip a little bit. And we'll just color it. And just cute little flower. Looks like this. Oops, I'll just make it maybe a little more round. There we go. And that's the flower. Now we'll have to go back, we'll have to merge these layers and we'll, oops, that's the wrong merge. So just undo, merge these two layers and name it pink flower. Cool. Okay, now we have to do a few more things. We have to add a few more branches, so we'll add a pink branch right here. So we'll go create a new layer, let's grab the second pink right here, and we'll create a little branch coming from here this way up. That's a little too long, somewhere here. We'll create the cute little leaves. And one more. Now we'll color fill it. And here's a cute little pink branch. So we'll go back and name it pink branch. Cool. Okay, we'll have to create a new one more right here. So we will go and create a new layer and grab this last brown in the third row, and we'll create one more little branch coming from here this way up again. But we'll now create round little leaves like this. And one more here. So now we'll color fill it. And that's all for this little branch, so we'll call it brown branch. Now we'll create a pink branch coming from this pink flower up this way. So we'll create a new layer, we'll grab this dark pink and we'll create the branch coming this way. Now all we have to do is just add some round leaves like this. As you notice, everything is so very easy. I think it's something that anyone can draw. And it's also very cute, so you can use it in many different ways. Create a new one more branch right here. And I'll also fill this little gap. Cool. Okay. Now we'll call it. I try to name every layer that I have, so I know what is on each layer. So now we have a few more things, but we're almost done. So we'll have to create a new layer, and we'll create a little branch coming this way. So we'll grab this first brown, and we'll create the branch coming from here this way. It shouldn't be big, it should be like a little small branch. There's this little branches, and now all they have to do is just create some circles, and that would be kind of little cute branches, little, I don't know, it's not even berries, it's not the flowers, it's just cute little things. Now we'll grab the dark brown and we'll create some leaves. We'll have to create a new layer for this. Just every there and there. Now also create this little tops on this little. Make sure to color all the gaps. Cool. Okay, almost done. Now we just have to add some accents, and some details, and we'll be done. Okay, so we'll name this layer. We'll call it brown brunch, I don't know, 3. You don't have to name the layers, it's just me. But we'll go ahead and create a new layer, and we'll grab this yellow. So now we'll just add a little cute accent every there and there. So we'll add some here. We'll add one there. We might also want to add something yellow right here, and maybe even here. No, that's a little bit too much. I think that's enough. Okay, now we'll call them yellow branches. Again, you won't have to do it, it's just me. Now we'll create a new layer, and we'll add some details every there and there, and it will be on one layer. So we'll go ahead and grab this. First we'll add some details to this purple flower, so we'll go ahead and grab this plus purple, dark purple on the first row. We'll just add some cute details to the flower to make sure it's not too simple and too plain. We'll also grab this pale purple and just add some details. To make sure our flowers is not boring. That's all, very easy, doesn't have to be too big. Now we'll go ahead and grab the pink. We'll add some details to this little pink branch to make it extra cute. Cool. Now we'll go ahead and just add some details to this little branch. I want to make sure it doesn't look like every other leaf that we have, so we'll add different details. We'll add something to this branch, I think, so we'll go ahead and grab this yellow and just add some lines in the middle that they don't even have to be continuous. So you can make some gaps to make it a little more interesting. That's all for this one. Now we'll add something here, so we'll go ahead and grab the dark purple, dark pink, I think it is. We'll just add something the same. I'm just going for an organic look, so I don't want it to be, you know, too harsh of a line, so I'll just go with this continuous pretty things. Cool, okay. Now let's go. What else? I think that's all. That's all. Okay. Now we'll just name it details. And we'll go back here and we'll create a new layer underneath every other layer that we have. We will go ahead and we'll grab this pale and make it a little paler thing, and we'll just color fill the whole layer. So that's all. That's the illustration, and congratulations if you created it. If not, I think you should try. And that's all for this tutorial. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something new. You'll create these cute illustrations, this flower illustration, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.